Korean War uniform. So I have a little piece I'm going to read. So when the Civil War broke out, a drum was needed. So Berlin Myers made one, as he had 3 sons, Joseph, Henry, and John, who wanted to enlist in the army. He felled a tree, split, hewed, and worked out the drum loop and covered the ends. The drum was used July 4th, 1861 in a Jefferson celebration and on other occasions during the war. After that, the drum would be carried on all patriotic occasions, including the Spanish-American War and World War I. In 1915, the drum was taken to Chicago and new heads were put on. During World War I, it was in constant use for seeing the boys off and used in parades of all kinds. It was always carried to the cemetery on Decoration Day. The drum was in possession of the George H. Thomas Post of the Grand Army of the Republic and kept in the courthouse, and then later was given to Berlin Myers' grandson, Joseph Henry Myers. And then in 1971, the drum was donated to a museum by his great-great-grandson, Robert Frank Snodgrass.
Well, that is a real keepsake to have something that goes back to the war itself right here. Amazing. Well, Diane, thank you very much. Do you see any other big challenges on the research going forward?
Well, yes, I will continue to try to find Marion Tolliver. I even have a genealogist, a friend of mine, that we spent 3 hours on the phone here a couple weeks ago with her notes and mine, and the puzzle grows. I'm just not sure who he is.
My son is a history professor at Miami of Ohio University in Oxford, Ohio, and last week I was telling him about Diane and the research she's done on this, and I said, we're talking about 32 soldiers and 2 teachers, and she's got biographies on all of them. And he said, oh my God, I can't even believe that. So I'm afraid Miami of Ohio may try to pick you off. Thank you. I'm going to take a look at that memoir here later on. You'll have an opportunity to do that. I now want to call up another element of our project, and a very interesting one. I want to call up a friend of mine, John Busbee. John? You may hear John on radio on the Culture Buzz show. He does a listing of cultural events in Des Moines and Central Iowa and has done for a number of years. He's a writer, he's a singer. Are you still singing now?
No, I had to back off the gospel quintet, but I still sing in the shower.
And he is, I said a writer, he's written several things on history, he's got a love of history. And he's a playwright, and I knew that. And so as I was starting to write stories about this, I was sending them to John and saying, take a look at this, see what you think. And he got back and telling me he was very interested. And so today we have signed a contract that he's going to write the play, Schoolboy Soldiers of Rippy, if that's the title. It could change.
We'll call it a working title for now.
Okay. And Darren Jackson, the drama teacher at Greene County High School, has already decided this will be the school play 1 year from now in November of 2026 for Greene County High School. And we'll be starring our own students and possibly some adults in it as we go on.
It's going to be a community show, that's for sure. I know it's hard for anyone in this room to believe, but when Chuck contacted me, he had creative mischief in mind, and I, of course, willingly followed him into it. Theater is my background, really. I've done professional theater for years. It's what brought me to Des Moines, which is the area I still live in. Mary Ritchie and I go back to Adventureland, which is the performing venue that brought me here. Well, and it still is. I adjudicate for the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards program, and so I stay in contact with high schools especially. So that's where my passion for theater really lies. And when I heard about the opportunity to create a world premiere here in Jefferson, working with the high school, especially energized as you guys were with this story, I said, count me in. This is going to be fun. What the play will do to really serve as a companion piece for all the other elements that Chuck has been talking about is serve as kind of bringing the stories alive. I'm not going to reveal much because the committee is working on the details. We talked about some rough kind of spitballing ideas, but it'll be more than just, introducing 34 people involved in this particular chapter of history. We're going to talk about what was happening in this area before the Civil War. We want to inject what the mothers, what the sisters were thinking about in this whole conflict and what was coming up. And of course, touch on what happened with the schoolboys and of course with the teacher and director. So it's going to be a fun project weaving this all together. But I am so looking forward to it, and I'm sure everyone will receive updates. I know there's going to be a way to capture your names, your email addresses, and things like that specifically for this project. If they do it through this wonderful organization here, please make sure you stay connected so we can provide updates to you, because you never know where that little nucleus of fact you're going to find. It's like you said, you start going down rabbit holes with history, and all of a sudden you have this aha moment. You just say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell Chuck about this. So.
One thing that turned my head about John was he told me that he had written a trilogy of plays for the community of Greenfield that have been presented, and I want to briefly tell this. How long ago was that?
2014, 15, and 16, and 17.
Well, tell us what the plays were about and how you got into it.
Well, I'm sure most folks in here know about the incredible legacy of the Adair County Free Press with the Sidey family, 4 generations there. Linda Sidey contacted me a little over a decade ago and said, I've got this idea. I think you should write a play kind of based around World War II and K.H. Sidey. And so we got together and we produced the first that would end up being 3 feature-length, full-length plays called the Bonds of War series. And I pulled, my source material was editorial and fact information and a lot of oral history from the area. And we created 3 great plays. The entire community and region was just engaged with this. I did one of those look at the license plates kind of assessment of who was coming there. I not only saw probably dozens of out-of-county license plates from Adair County, but even some from Missouri and one from Nebraska. So this is the thing I want you to embrace. This project is not just going to be great for the community here and for the region, but it's going to ripple across the state of Iowa. And there are going to be a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, those people in Jefferson and Greene County really have it going. So that's what kind of excites me.
And you did that for the actors with the theater group in Greenfield.
Yep, indeed. The Roseland, what is it? Cumberland Rose Players, that's it.
Cumberland Rose Players, that's
yes.
it.
Anyway.
A theatrical troupe named after a train.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll have fun with this, and thanks for getting me involved with a great group.
Thank you. John was also involved. There's 2 other great Civil War history stories. I mean, there's a lot of them in Iowa, but 2 that have always caught my eye was one, the Lennox College in Hopkinton, Iowa, in northeast Iowa, closed down at the start of the Civil War, and the president and the students left the college over there and went to the war and served, like an older version of our Rippy Schoolboy soldiers. The other is the story of the Littleton brothers of Louisa County in southeast Iowa, 6 brothers who wound up dying in the war from combat or disease and had been totally forgotten 150 years later. And when the story resurrected again, John was involved, wrote the story for Iowa History Illustrated, and got involved in helping the state place a really beautiful monument in that community over there. Is it in Fruitland, Iowa?
Oh, in Toolsboro.
In Toolsboro, Iowa. a monument that tells the story of the brothers, and we've studied that closely too, and because he was involved in that, I thought, right person to have involved here, so thank you very much. Well, Mary Weaver, how much is this going to cost? And what are we going to do about it to raise the money? Come on up here, please. We got a slide there. You've seen Aden Bardole's. Here is the proposed budget. And you've heard about most of these elements here already, as other people have presented. The grand total at the bottom is $95,000, which is an ambitious goal. From the start of this, I resolved in my own mind that if I was going to put a lot of time in this, and I wanted it to be done right, like the students wanted it, and I wasn't going to let a few $1,000s here and there stop us. So that's our target as we go into this. Mary has been involved in a number of fundraising campaigns over the years. So what's your approach? What do you think we're going to do?
Well, we're going to look at the people in Greene County first, because they have been very successful and shown entrepreneurship about helping things within our Greene County, within our community. And then it may go even beyond Greene County. I like what John said about this is going to have an impact. So we will go first to our citizens. Secondly, we will go to our usual funders. We're very grateful for what the casino has done for our community, for Grow Greene County. And then they give some dollars, as you probably know, to the Greene County Community Foundation. Last week, the Grow Greene County people had their first training, so I went and attended and learned how we could write the grant successfully. And I was very, very pleased because I was asking questions about a fiscal entity, because we are not, the Schoolboys are not a 501c3 yet, but we are using the Greene County Historical Society for our fiscal person, and they are a not-for-profit group. So we'll go locally first, and then in addition to our casino funding, there are other groups in the various communities, the suburbs, as we call them, of Lyons and Kiwanis and other organizations. So we'll be on the road with this kind of information and sharing that with them. Now, we might be able to go beyond Greene County for funding and go to the Iowa Arts Council, Humanities Iowa. There will be other places that we will seek revenue.
Thank you, Mary. We want to stress right from today that donations of any size and amount are always welcome. And we're going to start that off here today by if you got change, you got a few bucks you want to kick in today, we are going to pass the hat in a unique way. Tin hook, guys. Remove your lids and mingle among the supporters and gather their contributions. There you go. Be as generous as you can be. If you want to write a larger check today to the Greene County Historical Society, we welcome that. If you want to think about this, but you're inclined toward a larger pledge, and let's say a $500 or more, and you want to designate one of these aspects of this campaign that you want to contribute to specifically, we have Margaret Hamilton back there has pledge cards ready. You can take them, and the pledges need to be fulfilled by the end of December in 2026. So a year and a month from now, you've got that long to make that contribution, and again, there's tax benefits for you doing that. But in the meantime, we also ask that if any of you have access to organizations that might be inclined this way, by all means let us know, any of us on the committee, and we'll thank you. Or if you work for a company that can do matching donations.
I'm also going to say that some of you put money into the jar when you came in, and all that money will be given to this project today.
Thank you, Margaret. And Dena? The Iowa Veterans Services, is that the name of that organization? Has a fund that they will contribute to monuments for veterans. And Mike Beryl, the former Veterans Affairs Coordinator for Greene County, has already volunteered that he'll help us access that contribution. But it's like 10% of an actual monument is what they might contribute. And so that would be one aspect of our campaign, as you can see. But we hope all of this will happen and happen expeditiously in the year ahead. And we think that after 160-some years, we will have a suitable honoring and presentation of the story of schoolboy soldiers of Ripping. Here's the card that Margaret has available back there if you want to make a pledge for later on. I want to thank you for your patience and your generosity so far. And we're going to wrap up here